Welcome to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. I'm your host, JMO. And today's friend is my co-host, Ethan. How's it
Hello.
going, Ethan?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Great to have you back on today.
Great to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. So in today's episode, we will be exploring the world of Chainsaw Man, a dark supernatural fantasy with elements of horror, released in October of 2022. For the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will be exploring the first season of Chainsaw Man. First, we will take a look at our main character, Denji, and find out what makes him tick. Next, we will meet some of the people he works with and explain the service they offer. Afterwards, we will steal a look at the day that changed everything. Finally, we will recap some of the other crazy fights of the series. And remember, if you like what you hear today, follow us on our social media, linked in the show notes. So, Denji, talk to us about Denji, Ethan.
Yeah, Denji, well, he very much embodies teen angst, teen spirit. So when the show starts, the series starts, he's a down on his luck teen. His parents, I believe it was his parents, were killed by the Yakuza, and he inherited their debt.
Okay, you know what's funny? It
What's that?
doesn't actually go into that all the way with we know he had exorbitant amount of debt at the start of the anime, but
Yeah.
so what you're giving some additional information from the manga that I find useful myself. So
Yeah, so he starts working for this Yakuza boss, and his life's just miserable. I mean, he lives in essentially it looks like a garden utility shed. He dreams of eating like bread with toppings on it. That's how poor this guy is.
that's all he wants. He just wants a little bit of bread with
Yeah.
jam.
Yeah, and Denji, he's all about like singular focus on small to us, small goals. And yeah, so he starts off and he has been a small time devil hunter. I'll let you explain what those are in the setting.
Well, I mean, one of the ways he was able to become a small time devil hunter was when he met the little chainsaw devil and he named it Puchita. He actually helped it. He saved it. It was on the verge of death. It was took the form of a little dog, and him and Puchita became really good friends. And as a result of it, he was able to fight against other devils and other demons and take them out. So he would respond to contracts and make sure, and they would pay him to eliminate the devil. And unfortunately, they would take out all sorts of fees, like a finder's fee and a maintenance fee. And it's kind of like, a job that would be paying him 400,000 is suddenly only paying him 170,000, then minus a few more fees off of that. So he's trying to pay off his debt, and he's doing whatever he can until one day where it just kind of all changed. The Yakuza boss brought him in and planned on eliminating Denji and Puchita with the zombie devil. Want to talk to us about that fight a little?
Yeah, so he's brought into, I believe, yeah, some kind of like abandoned warehouse,
Yeah.
and he doesn't know what's going on. He just thinks this is another day devil hunting. And then the Yakuza boss, there's kind of a theme for season one where Denji is likened to a dog.
Yeah.
And so the Yakuza boss essentially is kind of like, you're not even a good enough dog for me, so I'm gonna have you killed. And he traps him in this abandoned warehouse that's filled with zombies who were, to my understanding, they were former henchmen or, people that had to try to work or bargain with that same Yakuza boss. And there's a zombie devil that had been creating them. And so he just sicks them all on Denji.
And as a result of it, Denji's falling, but Puchita does something that's really amazing and merges into Denji, turning Denji into the Chainsaw Devil. Yet he's not 100% devil because he's still human. He's a human devil hybrid that doesn't quite make sense, like almost 100% human and 100% devil at the same time. And Puchita is still living on inside of Denji. And Denji takes on the zombie demon as the chainsaw demon, fights, and he wins. In the aftermath, he passes out, and a very interesting person comes onto the scene. And this person actually, we're just going to mention her by name. Her name is Makima. And as a result of the new purpose and everything that she gives Denji, it actually changes the motives that he's fighting for in the future. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. His introduction to Makima and the public safety devil hunters.
Yeah. So again, to kind of show you the tone of the series and also just Denji, Makima meets him as he's still the Chainsaw Devil, like pretty much right after he finishes the fight. And the first thing she does is hugs him, right? And so Denji, who, well, I said before, like teen angst and all that, he's a pervert. Like, if I can put it
Yeah,
simply, he's perverted.
he's a
He's a
16-year-old
yeah,
pervert.
he's a teen. He's got teen interests and all that. So she hugs him, and he's immediately like smitten with her. Like he's just like, I love this girl. This is what I've been wanting because he had mentioned that to Pachita before. Like, oh, I want a girl so bad. So it's funny because she hugs him, and you think this is good, and then she takes him out for like lunch at a diner, and then she talks to him like he's a dog. Like she's like, you can either serve me as a dog or you'll die like a dog. Like either you're useful to me as a dog or you're gonna die like a dog. That's not useful. And he still just kind of looks past all of that and just sees girl who hugged me, I like.
One of the heads of the public safety devil hunters. She hooks him up with a job, and she introduces him to his first partner. And his first partner is one of your favorite guys. His first partner is Aki. Talk to us a little about Aki.
Yeah, so Aki kind of is like the straight man of the series. He's like kind of like a consummate professional almost. Like he keeps everything kind of short, sweet, serious. He's not very talkative, which is very different from Denji. And yeah, I mean he's very serious about it. He doesn't like Denji at first. He's very like opposed to it. I believe he kind of like smacks Denji around when they're first looking for Devil together. So yeah, I mean, at the start, he's like he doesn't like Denji. He's only doing this because Makima asked him, and he's got a good relationship with her. So yeah, it's he. I like Aki because he's just a good counterpoint for that for Denji.
And he also brings out Denji's new motive for what he's doing, why he's doing, and ultimately it's just because he has now finally tasted the good life. He has now finally able to eat anything, something more than just a loaf of bread or a piece of toast. He can now put jam on it, and he reveals that he has the crush on Makima.
Yeah, he's very open about his desires too. He's got no shame in it. Like he'll never hide it, even to Makima, he doesn't hide it.
No, he doesn't hide it at all. And honestly, despite the fact that he is what he is, and he is a pervert, it's almost his cause almost comes off as noble as somebody who's doing it to save people or someone who's
Mm,
doing it for vengeance or some like he
yeah,
presents it in such a way to where my cause is as important as your cause. Like you don't
yeah.
understand what I've been through. I understand what I've been through. And frankly, I just want to live the good life.
Yeah, and it also there's kind of a bit of a relief in seeing him be so open because to me it kind of avoids like those fluff chapters of like, oh my gosh, when is he gonna tell Makima his feelings? Like it's like, nope, he tells her right away. Like you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
You get to see how that plays out right away.
So, and after he does his initial training day with Aki, he's then assigned a new partner for his second time around. And the partner that's brought in is Power. Talk to us about Power a little.
Yeah, so Power is like Denji, but instead of like, perverted, Power is bloodlusted pretty much. Power seeks power. And so Power is this female devil, I
Fiend.
believe.
She is actually a
Yeah,
fiend. I
that's
don't
right. So
quite remember the difference, but she's the blood fiend.
so fiends, if I'm not mistaken, fiends were humans that were taken over, kind of like Denji. They were taken over by a devil, and so now they're all devil, and that's why Denji's unique because he's not. He still retains some of himself. But so Power's very kooky. Power is has a little bit of that like fish out of water kind of thing going on, where she doesn't fully understand like, some of Denji's goals, just some customs. And yeah, she's a trip. She's very out there and very rambunctious.
And it's funny because despite the fact that there is a clear disconnect between Denji and Power, they actually understand each other probably better than most in the public safety. So the
Yeah.
first time they saw each other use their powers, there was, I'm not going to say there was a connection because that might, I might either be minimizing or reading too much into it. What my point is that you can tell they understand each other.
Yeah, that respect for each other definitely grows in season one. You're definitely right. Like they see a little bit of themselves in the other. You see that with, when Denji and I know you will talk about this later, but when Denji's helping her, she starts to see kind of that connection.
And someone that really helps both of them, takes them to the next level, is an older veteran of the organization by the name of Kishibe. He takes both Denji and Power under his wing, and he trains them relentlessly. And you're like, oh, so he's the kind mentor type. No, no, no. He just keeps on killing them over and over and over again. When the devils or fiends drink blood, they come back. So what he does, he puts them to the point of death, gives them blood, and then they come back so that he can do it all over again. He toughens them up. He teaches them how to think on their feet and come back at any opponent, no matter how strong they are. Any other characters that you want to bring up or anything else you want to say on Kishibe?
Another character that I like is Kobeni. Kobeni's funny because you don't see her too much, and she's very clumsy and afraid, but she's got some stuff to her that you'll see. It's just funny how she kind of rounds out the group because you
Yeah.
got Aki who's very confident, Power who's kind of maybe overconfident, Denji who's just kind of focused on his goals, and then Kobeni who doesn't want to be there at all. Yeah, it's a funny bunch when they go devil hunting together.
And they're a team that's working together with each other at the end of the series. Character that doesn't make it to the end that also made an impression on me was Himeno, the lady with the eye patch, and she's the one who actually trained Aki, and she's the one who mentored him and ultimately gave up her life in order to save Aki and Denji in a battle on the day that changed everything. If you're already getting hooked, we recommend you watch it for yourself on Crunchyroll, home to over 1,000 anime series and simulcast, both subbed and dubbed. The website can be found in the show notes. They're trying to find the Gun Devil because that's the goal. That's Makima's goal. And it became Denji's goal because Makima basically tells Denji, I'll give you anything you want if you're able to take down the Gun Devil. And it was a very strong implied anything. So they're going after him. And as a result, the Gun Devil starts coming after them. Talk to us about this day that just changed everything.
So we're following Makima's perspective for a little bit. She's talking to some fellow agent on, I believe they're traveling to Kyoto, and then all of a sudden you're seeing kind of like a montage of her and the person with her. They show a couple of different pairings of the agents, and they're all gunned down. Almost immediately, they're just all gunned down. And Power and Denji are confronted, and they,
Power, Denji, Aki, and Himeno are all together at the point in time, and they're confronted by the big guy.
yeah, the Katana Devil. So he trying to bring Denji in, or at least take his heart. We don't know exactly what for, so that just kind of starts this new, intrigue. And yeah, and they're forced to try to defend against him and this Snake Devil fighter named Akane.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is, she wasn't there at first. They're actually able to take down the Katana Devil at first, but then she shows up, gives the Katana Devil blood, and the fight starts all over again. And during the course of this, in order to save them, this is where Himeno, who has a contract with the Ghost Devil, gives up her full spirit and her full essence in order to give them a chance to beat the Katana Devil and Akane. So the fight goes on. Aki is completely shattered at the loss of Himeno, and he can't do anything in this battle. Power is taken out of commission in this battle. Himeno is gone, and Denji falls. They're dragging Denji back to the van to move him away, and then Makima steps in from a distance. Talk to us about this crazy, weird control scene with Makima.
Yeah, yeah. You're kind of like thrown off a bit because you see her get shot on the train, and then you're like, wow, really? They killed her? Like, because she's at this point in the series, I mean, right away when you meet her, but she's always got this like, for lack of a better word, just this presence to her, like very
Very
kind of,
controlling, calm demeanor.
yeah, and very like overwhelming, like a very powerful like presence. She actually, so she comes to on the train, like she comes back and just destroys the assassins there. And then the train gets to their destination. She meets these two Kyoto agents, and she tells them, meet me at this temple and bring a whole bunch of convicts or inmates. And so you see her just, she's calling out, she's telling the inmates, say this name, and they say the name, and then they fall down, and she does some kind of hand signal. And you see the assassins as they're trying to fight Denji and his allies, they just they're almost like squashed into nothingness, like
Yeah,
almost immediately. Yeah,
absolutely brutal.
yeah,
And that's how they salvaged the day. I'm not going to say that the agency won the day because they lost so many people. There's very few remaining at the end of this, but that's how they salvaged the day. They took out just as many with them, and Katana Man and Kane escape with their lives. So in the end, you have what 6 or 7 maybe total of the public safety devil hunters left, and you have two of the gun devil subordinates fleeing the scene. Day just of overwhelming loss both ways. That sets up a rematch at the end of the series, and I think we're going to leave you in suspense about the rematch. But
mm.
instead, we're going to talk about some of our other favorite fights of this season.
One of my favorite fights, and also just plot points, would be the when they're in the hotel. So they're trapped in a hotel, quite a bit out there, but they're trapped in a hotel by this devil that it just becomes a puzzle for the longest time. They're Denji, Himeno, Aki, and Power are all trying their own different ways of figuring out how to get out of this. You get some contemplation because Aki's got this special weapon that there's a cost for him using it. So that it kind of introduces in that part of the show kind of just how these agents work. So they're all contracted with devils. It all comes with a cost. And so Himeno, her cost when she was saving her friends, like we mentioned before, hers was, she just gave everything. And the ghost devil, because the devils, like, they don't care about people. They just want essentially. So they'll take any contract they can get. And so the devil that's trapping them in the hotel is like, if you guys make a contract with me and hand over Denji, I'll let you go. So I won't say any more about it because I think it's a really great moment in the show when you see the interactions between them as they're trapped and they really start to kind of bond over that. But for me, that was the highlight for season one.
That scene was very important and very pivotal to the series. It was the first time that you realize that the Gun Devil is actually after Denji. My favorite fight is one that comes before that, and it's when you start to see the bond between Denji and Power forming, and it's also when you start to, what Denji and Power can actually do in combat. And long story short, as a result of actions that Power took, Denji ends up in combat with the Bat Devil, ends up taking it out, and then the Earthworm Devil shows up to try to avenge her lover, the Bat Devil. And in the end, Aki's able to save Denji from the Earthworm using his contract with the Fox Devil. So yeah, it's a very fun scene. It is a very graphic. It is a very gory scene. It takes place in the middle of a town, but at the end of the day, it kind of gave some decent character development for both Denji and Power, and it showed this is the first time that we actually see anything that Aki does. So it does some power development for all three of those characters, and I just really kind of appreciate it. It also shows you that the hijinks that's going to happen as a result of Denji and Power working with each other throughout the course of the series. Any other thing you want to add on that or any others?
Just in general, I would say if you like how Jujutsu Kaisen is, this is kind of like a more upbeat version because it just occurred to me the concepts are pretty similar. Jujutsu Kaisen has curses that are related to like various concepts. And then this show does that. You know, you mentioned the bat was a devil. They had the ghost devil, chainsaw, that's a devil, gun, that's a devil. So it's a very similar series, but it's also kind of more lighthearted, like I said, with Denji
More
being
lighthearted,
Kirby.
yet more graphic too.
More, oh yeah, very graphic and very like breakneck speed.
So once again, we took a look at Denji and found out exactly what makes him tick. And then we met some of the other many people, fascinating people he works with, including Makima and Aki and Power. Afterwards, we took a look at that fateful day that changed everything, that redefined what the public safety devil hunters were. And finally, we took a look at some of our other favorite battles and just kind of went into what the series is. So, any closing thoughts or opinions? Where does this rank for you? How much do you like Chainsaw Man?
I think it's a really fun anime. It's really good, like popcorny anime to me. The plot it's not bad by any means. This doesn't surpass like, Jujutsu Kaisen or Full Metal Alchemist for me, but it's a very good, fast-paced, actiony manga that, yeah, I had a lot of fun reading it. I finished the first arc already.
Okay. For me, it was very bingeable. It was something that you could definitely just, when you saw one episode, you wanted to see the next episode. So it's one of those things where it was kind of like it took you from one episode to the next. The truth of the matter is, I need to see more before I even say that it's something like a must watch. It was a fun watch. A huge, uh, I'm not a huge blood and gore guy when it comes down to it. So I think for someone who appreciates that more, that there's a lot of great scenes like that. But at the end of the day, if that's the style that you're into, I think that Chainsaw Man should be on your must watch list. I'm gonna continue on with the series because I want to know more. There's definitely a lot that I want to still learn from it. As far as ones that we did this season, it's probably on the lower end of anime that we covered in this first season of exploring anime with friends for me. But I still really enjoyed it. The characters are fun and they are compelling at the very least. So I hope you had as much fun exploring the first season of Chainsaw Man as we did, and consider watching the anime. So if you like what you heard today, make sure to listen to us on Apple and Spotify. All of our podcasts are there. All of the J-Mail for Real podcasts are on there. Check us out on social media and interact with us there. It is linked in the show notes. Until next time, this has been Exploring Anime with Friends, a J-Mail for Real podcast. Let's explore together.